December, we checked residency with 56 different workers. 6 of those workers were non-compliant with invalid ID, and there were no new signs delivered during the period of December. Any questions on that report before I move into the annual? Okay. So the annual report covers our visits between January 1st, 2023 and December 31st, 2023. We made 72 total site visits during that period. We had 3 follow-up visits during that period. We checked with 659 workers. During 2023, we had 8 issues of non-compliance. There was 1 new MCIDC sign delivered during that period to Episcopal Senior Housing Irondequoit. 99% average compliance on the initial site visit, and all sites were 100% compliant within 24 hours of the initial visit.
Any questions for Kevin? Please eat with us.
Can I take a bottle of water? Will that count?
Yeah, that will go. That'll be real
All right,
good.
you guys have a happy new year. Thanks so much.
Brian, do you want to review the local labor exemption?
Sure. Thank you. Good afternoon. I have 1 local labor exemption request to report on today, and that is related to the Episcopal Senior Housing Irondequoit LLC project. This exemption was related to the installation of the door operators for the automatic door equipment at the site. The manufacturer has a requirement that the equipment, the door operators, are installed by their certified or a certified contractor. The contractor's name is Asa Abloy. Entrance Systems are out of Syracuse, and their warranty required that. So we gave an exemption for Asa Abloy to bring some folks in from outside the area. I think they said 3 people to install that facet of the door system.
Any questions for Brian? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Happy New Year. So we're going to introduce Deputy County Executive Jeff McCann.
Okay, thank you, honey.
Should we stand or what?
No, I feel like I should stand.
Okay.
Thank you. And these meetings seem like they go quicker than I remember in the past. So, congratulations.
We're on egg time right now.
So first of all, let me start off by thanking everybody for their service over the past year. I think I was here last year. I think was the last time I was here with this. So thank you everybody for your service over the past year. Just want to thank you for the partnership that we've enjoyed with you from the Bello administration's perspective. The good work that we've done together during the pandemic, and all the work in terms of securing loans to help support job creation and expansion, and to help upskill and employ hundreds of members of Monroe County's workforce. One of the things we're particularly proud of partnering with you on is the micro loan program. We had over $6 million in ARPA funds that we partnered with. For the first time in our history, Monroe County is able to provide capital loans to small businesses with 25 or fewer employees, offer special incentives for MWBEs and service disabled veteran-owned businesses with below market interest rates to support the needs of disadvantaged enterprises during a time of historically high cost. Since the launch in June, this MCIDC program has supported 16 small businesses. Many more microloans are expected in the upcoming year and beyond. As you all know, workforce development is one of the top priorities of the Bello administration, and your effort supports impactful programs through BOCES, the Rochester Technology and Manufacturing Association, the Museum and Science Center, GRE provides, these programs provide free training to job seekers, expose youth to manufacturing careers, and create and support new jobs. This work is vital to the county's competitiveness and helps keep us a great place to live, work, and do business. So I want to again thank everybody for all the work that you've done. And now it's my pleasure on behalf of the county executive to appoint new board members to 3 to 3-year terms to serve on MCIDC. Those members are Brittany Bachman, Christopher Rush, Joe Sayer, and Carla Vasquez. So congratulations, everyone. And then in terms of officers for next year, on behalf of the county executive, it's my pleasure to appoint Hanif Abdul Wahid as president, Vice President Chris Johnston, Secretary Eric Rogers, and Treasurer Jeff Barker. I'm sorry, I almost said Baker, but I know it's Barker. I'm very good friends.
Mike would have, yeah.
Yeah, I'm very good friends. I'm very good friends with his brother Mike. On behalf of County Executive Bello and our administration, we look forward to working with the board in 2024 and beyond, helping Monroe County employers remain competitive and create quality, good-paying jobs for our workforce continues to be a top priority, and we're very proud of the instrumental role that MCIDC plays in helping us work to achieve these important goals. Thank you again to your volunteer service to MCIDC and this important mission in the Economic Development Department for Monroe County. Before I pass it back to Hanif, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have for me, or if you have any thoughts or suggestions you'd like to share as we go into the new year, I'd be happy to listen or answer any questions that you have. Okay. And I hope you won't be offended. I would love to stay for the meeting, but the county executive has his swearing in tonight, so I'm going to run back across the table to help wrap up the preparations for that this afternoon. So thank you again for all your service, and it's a pleasure for me to be here with you. So
thank you. Appreciate you. You can feel free to help yourself to a sandwich if you want to.
Like I said, okay. All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we're at number 7, committee assignments. Robin, you have this.
Yeah, I passed everybody has a sheet. So we kept everyone the same, no one said it otherwise. And then our new board members, except for Christopher, because we didn't get a chance to talk to him yet, have all been added to committees. So right now we're all full, which is great.
So what we're gonna do is, we'll take a motion for the chairs first, and then after motion for the rest of the board members to sit on these committees. So we need a motion for Chris Johnson, Loan Committee Chair, myself for Audit Committee Chair, Zach Phillips for Governance Committee Chair, and Jeff Barker for Finance Committee Chair.
Motion. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, so we're in again. All right. So we want to go make a motion to appoint Carla Vasquez and Joe Sayer to the Loan Committee. And we want a motion to appoint Brittany Bachman to the Governance Committee. And a motion to appoint Brittany Bachman and Joe Rizzle to the Audit Committee.
Oh, Joe Sayer, sorry.
Joe Sayer, I'm
My
sorry.
bad.
Whoa. Joe Rizzle's gone, right?
You're tired.
I just got a little more hair than he does.
So we can have a motion to move that?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
All right.
Annual report?
Annual report. Thank you. Before I go into the slides, and I think Allison's going to pull the PowerPoint up on the screen, I'd like to provide an opportunity to our new board members to introduce themselves. And first and foremost, so I just want to thank you for joining the Monroe County Industrial Development Corporation Board and to formally welcome you. We really appreciate your willingness to volunteer your service. So I'd like to ask you each, if you're okay with it, to introduce yourselves. Carla, let's perhaps start with you, and tell us about your day job as well.
Okay. I'm Carla Vasquez. I'm a business banking relationship manager for ESL Federal Credit Union. So I assist businesses with lending products of $100,000 and over, and also with commercial mortgages. And thank you, I can say thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for thinking of me. So happy to join you. Looking forward to working with all of you, learning from all of you. Thank you for your grace and patience ahead of time while I get the lay of the land. I won't be too annoying.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris Rush.
Christopher Rush, currently I am the Collective Impact Model Manager with RMAPI. RMAPI uses a collective impact framework to address systemic and root causes of poverty and try to increase upper mobility in Rochester. From Rochester, New York, graduated from RCSD, grew up in the 19th Ward, love Rochester and any entity or organization trying to get people in Rochester and systems doing the right thing. So thank you for allowing me to be here today.
Thank you. Brittany.
Hi, I'm Brittany Bachman. I'm the marketing manager at Bolter Industrial Contractors. We are 133 years old organization. You may not know of us, but we've moved a lot of stuff around Rochester. So I oversee all of the marketing efforts, and I support the sales team. I'm the only marketing person for the company. So it's a lot on the plate, but it's a lot of fun. And so I hope to bring new insights to the board. Thank you.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to serve the community in this role. My name is Joe Sayer. I work in economic development for RG&E and NYSEG. I cover about 40% of the state of New York, but I'm lifelong Rochesterian and a local 19th Ward resident, and I'm excited to provide any knowledge and insight and learn from all of you around the table. So thank you.
Thank you, Joe. And also, before I dive in, can I put our current board members on the spot to just quickly introduce themselves? I know I made some introductions earlier on, but I thought we could just quickly go around the table, if that's all right. Eric, we can start with you. Okay.
Eric Rogers, CEO and President of Rogers Enterprises, construction engineering firm. I'm a Rochesterian as well. West Side, 441 Genesee Street.
Nice. 19th Ward is represented well.
Been on the board a year, and we do a lot of work up and down the East Coast with construction management and construction engineering services. Thank you.
All right, I'm Zach Phillips. I am a small business called Kink BMX. Our BMX brand that sells about 1,500 bike shops around the U.S. and we have distribution in about 30 different countries. And I don't know how long I've been on the board. A while, 10 years. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
I'm Phil Smith. I currently am self-employed. I used to be a banker for many years and a lender, most recently at M&T. Now I'm doing what I call business advisory work. Some people call it consulting, but I'm not enamored with consultants, so I don't call myself. So now I'm on the other side. In most of the cases I work on helping companies deal with their bank. So.
It's important. And you, I think, are our longest.
Oh, yeah, I've been here so long that they can't figure out. I know Tom Fry was the county executive.
No kidding. Wow. Full circle.
That's a long time ago. Hanif Abdul Wahid. I'm retired now, but I used to work right here in this office. I've been on the board, it's got to be close to 20 years now. And I am retired, but I do have employment. I work for my wife at home as a domestic servant. I was able to get out today to attend this.
Thank you, honey.
Brett Owen. I work for Tompkins Community Bank as a commercial lender. I've been on the board for about a year. I think at this point, yeah, it's been a year now. Welcome to board members.
Thank you, Brett. And we'll, I'll introduce. So Greg Genovese is our CFO, Greg, I don't know that you've had an opportunity yet to formally meet our new board members, but you'll be interacting quite a bit with Greg. Barry Kerrigan is our attorney. And I'll skip over to Ryan Feltner.
Hi everyone, Ryan Feltner, commercial banker, commercial lender for M&T Bank, working for a number of years for Porterville, and work right down here in 3 City Center building.
I'm Jeff Parker, Canandaigua National Bank. I manage one of the commercial lending areas there, and I can't remember how long I've been on the board.
I can tell you.
Oh, I've been on the board for
You're 2006.
There you go.
Heidi, you're 2002. And Phil, it says, I inherited this spreadsheet, it says pre-1990.
Pre-1990, wow.
So, and I'm the treasurer.
Thank you. Yes, I'd like to give the opportunity to staff to introduce themselves as well. Raquel and Craig and Allison, I don't know that you've had an opportunity to meet the new board members.
So Raquel Michael Castillo, and I'm the Senior Economic Development Specialist within Economic Development Department.
I'm Craig Degner, SBA 504 underwriter for MCIDC.
I'm Allison Clark, Manager of Operations for MCIDC.
Thank you. And you know me and Robin. So thank you all. Thank you everyone for allowing me to put you on the spot. I can dive right into our PowerPoint presentation. Everybody should have a hard copy of this in their board packet materials. We like to take this opportunity at our annual meeting to reintroduce everyone to the mission statement. It's our mission as the Monroe County Industrial Development Corporation to provide resources to qualified for-profit businesses and not-for-profit organizations that result in the retention and creation of jobs and employment opportunities in Monroe County. So our main objectives are promotion and provision of economic development opportunities countywide and also in our adjacent counties where we can do 504 loans, and to provide additional employment and job opportunities within that jurisdiction as well. In the year 2023, we made significant strides. We had 9 great rate deals and 10 great rebates associated with 14 and 16 new full-time jobs, respectively. Our manufacturing rewards program awarded 5 incentive packages to 5 separate companies. And we had 10 Monroe on the job transactions as well. And you'll see in the 2023 column under company investments, the capital impact of those respective programs as well. And as we get further into this presentation, I'll talk a little bit more about our thoughts and goals for 2024 as it pertains to these particular programs. And the next slide, we talk about our microloan program. This is a new program in 2023, and I want to thank sincerely the members of the board for allowing us to introduce this program to MCIDC. This was at the recommendation and request of County Executive Adam Bello. As you all know, the county received a little over $126 million in American Rescue Plan funds, and it was a goal for many years for this department to establish a microloan program for micro enterprise to effectively provide working capital to small businesses and entrepreneurs who otherwise might have a harder time dealing with a traditional commercial bank. And it's been very successful so far. So $5.8 million of that ARPA allocation to Monroe County was earmarked for this program. And thanks to the hard work of staff and thanks to this board, we've established a successful system to monitor the program. And thank you also to Greg for working with us on the under the hood to make sure that this is operating efficiently. As our friends in the county law department like to say, ARPA dollars go to jail money. So we have to be very careful in our stewardship of these treasury funds. And indeed, we are being very careful, and also it's been very impactful. So the numbers that you see here in the slide are actually updated according to Tony, and Tony Sharaba I'm going to put you on the spot, Tony, to give us a quick rundown of the progress of the program so far and your outlook for the near term.
Okay, so the 16 loans that were up there were loans that approved and funded before year end. We have 3 additional loans that were approved prior to year end, but haven't funded yet. Our funding cycle is a little slower than a typical bank would. So really our approvals were 19 loans, 855,000 total. The other 3, the new 3 are all actually women owned. So they would make that number from 6 to 9. There's one loan we're having a lead issue with as a CNB. Individual had some family emergency out of the country. He supposedly has just gotten back in the country, but we're still a couple of payments behind, and he's, I guess, trying to wrap his head back around his business after whatever the family emergency was. But otherwise, people have been paying okay. Sometimes the first payment's a little tricky to get their system down, but otherwise that's been going okay. We do have 22 declines also, so we are running a little less than 50% on approval rate. We are looking at them with full regular underwriting, not just credit scoring. And just because they have a low credit score doesn't mean it's an automatic decline. We do take a look and see what the root cause of it was. You know, is any delinquency cleared? How long ago? Was it 2 months or 2 years? Is there a collections account? Well, is it an old parking ticket or is it a bank loan? Are there judgments? Is the judgment from the IRS or is it some guy who said he slipped on the sidewalk in front of the building? So, you know, we're looking at them. So those ones that were turned down, most often it's pretty hardcore delinquency. You know, we've had some with double-digit judgments and so forth. So we are expecting some future delinquency being the nature of the beast of small businesses, but we'll try to keep on top as best we can and, you know, identify what problems to look out for, you know, when we go through it. We have 2 underwriters who have been doing them. I review and approve them after they do those. We do expect it to continue. We have some various different outreach and marketing programs that we're working on now. We did have a big initial rush. A lot of that initial rush is still sitting there because a lot of those people kind of thought, oh, county program for free money. Once they got into it and realized it was a loan, they have to provide all this documentation. Most of those just are still sitting there. We have a few that are still trying to get their applications situated. Little technical assistance that we're looking at trying to get provided can help some of that along. But we do expect it to, you know, continue. We do get good feedback when we're talking to people about it. It's just a matter of getting the knowledge in front of the right people who actually need the funding.
Thank you, Tony. Any questions for Tony or for myself or staff about the microloan program? All right, we can move right along to our 504 and revolving loan fund portfolios. We had 6 loans approved in 2023, creating 26 full-time equivalent jobs with an estimated private investment of nearly $3.9 million. If I could ask you, Tony, if you could, once again, if I could put you on the spot, if you want to share any highlights from this past year that were notable to you. I know that one of the approvals that we had in 23 was actually connected to the microloan fund, which is a good success story that we want to continue.
Yeah, we actually had 3 connected to between the 504s and the microloans. The 504s, as you may recall, is fixed asset financing, just equipment, real estate. No working capital component is allowed in there. So 2 of those loans we actually did give a microloan to that they used for some working capital and some unexpected expenses that they had to deal with when they were closing. You know, one of them had some lead abatement stuff to do that she wasn't planning on. So some of the funds she had saved for closing costs and stuff, you know, kind of left pocket, right pocket with the microloan funds. We also had one person who we gave a microloan to, and while we were going through that process, With her, she was looking to expand her staff, that's why she initially came. And as we talked more, she's like, even after I expand my staff, it's gonna be crowded where I am. I can really use a new building. Well, we then, at our last committee meeting, approved a 504 loan for her. And that's, we're actually just submitting that to the SBA now for their approval. So it was kind of nice, we had some work both ways where the 504 came first, and we also had one where the microloan came first.
Thank you, Tony. All right.
So we did, these were all 504s?
Two of the.
Two of the six?
Well, yeah, the 6 were all 504s. 2 of those we also gave a microloan to.
Yeah.
And one of those 6 started out as a microloan.
But nothing from the revolving loan fund in 2023, correct?
No, we've been trying to, use that very judiciously.
Right.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. What was the reason for that?
Oh, so we're trying to use it very judiciously.
Why is that?
Though that's actually our own funds.
Yeah, I was gonna say the money.
And our own funds were a little bit limited. We didn't,
Yeah.
I guess, have as much bond fund recently to generate the fees.
Right, you might recall that the Taylor Square transaction in 2022, this was the project that Home Leasing took on over at the Hickey Freeman facility. We did a $500,000 loan through our RLF at, I think, a 0% interest rate. So that was effectively kind of like a grant, and it really stretched us with our capabilities with the revolving loan fund. However, we just approved the bond transaction with the University of Rochester. We're anticipating, thanks to Barry and his collaboration with us, we're anticipating a couple of additional bond transactions in the new year, in the early part of the new year. So we hope that we'll be in a stronger position to allocate more funds into that revolving loan fund in 2024.
Yeah, so when I look at this and when I look at our financials, we got plenty of liquidity here. Trying to get some of that out the door on the loan side, I think.
Right. That's a very good point, and that can be a goal for us for 2024. Agreed.
Hey Tony, so for the 504 program, we're able to go outside Monroe County to the surrounding counties. The microloan program, we cannot, is that correct?
Correct. Microloan is just in the county. 504 does go out. The only thing with the 504 is we don't have the benefit of being able to waive the mortgage tax outside of Monroe County. Usually we can waive that 1% on both pieces, our piece and the bank's piece.
Tony, just to clarify, this 3.8 million, that's what we funded, right? Is that the SBA portion that we sold, or?
3.8 is the capital, I think it's the total capital investment associated.
Total project cost.
Bank, SBA, and equity.
Right.
Totality, correct.
Right, exactly. Great, thank you.
Did they all close?
No. Kind of some of the nature of the beast, the closings, the approvals and closings, it's not unusual that they cross over the year end. I know especially one of them was the vets and the ground up construction. So, those can take a while, which is, why the whole, bridge funding by the bank, makes the program work, because the SBA doesn't fund until everything's said and done, CFO's there and everything. So we need the bridge funding to be able to let the borrower buy the property, buy the equipment, and get situated with that.
Thank you. 2023's bond update. So the 2 bond projects in 2023, including most notably that University of Rochester Emergency Department Tower project and associated projects totaling $400 million. There's a smaller $10 million Episcopal Senior Life project, senior housing project. So we were at $410 million in 2023, which is a strong track record. As you can see, we did one transaction in 2022 at $25 million and no projects in 2021, whereas in 2020 we were at nearly $750 million with 4 projects. And again, according to our fee structure. And Barry, can I have you remind the board our fee structure? I'm sorry, I can't wax poetic on it off the top of my head.
Sure. It's a tiered fee structure where the first 50 million has a 50 basis point charge, and then anything after 50 million has a reduced 20 basis point charge. So if the fee is under 50 million, there's one fee, and if it's 75 million, the first 50 million would be charged 50 basis points, the remaining 25 million would be charged a lesser fee.
Thank you. And we did negotiate with on those terms with the University of Rochester in 2023. So our fee income is a percentage of these figures. You'll see that 2017 was really our banner year with $1.1 billion. Was that the same year that the Strong Museum of Play project took place? I don't mean to put you on the spot, Robin and Allison, but 9 projects in 2017.
We have a lot of projects.
Was that all the colleges going, because they were gonna change the law?
We had some.
Yeah, it was 1 year that
Colleges
the
and.
law was changing.
Got it.
They were gonna change the law, I don't think they did.
Okay. And then looking ahead, I know I mentioned 2 projects that we're anticipating this year, one potential charter school project and one possible project at St. John Fisher University, which you may have read in the news about their plans over there, which we're excited to hopefully be able to do business with them. And if I could once again, Barry, ask you to opine, and perhaps Greg too, do you have any outlook or do you have any thoughts on 2024 and beyond in terms of the bond market and local activity?
Sure, I'll start. I think the outlook is a bit mixed. Rates are thought to be getting better, if not stabilized, and potentially going down. But there's still questions about jobs reports, inflation, and everything else. So from our perspective, I think there are certain types of transactions that are more likely to succeed in this environment, higher ed and charter schools being 2 of those, affordable housing potentially being a third. Those types of projects are typically government supported in some fashion and can deal with the higher interest rates that we currently have. We're not probably going to see a lot of refinancings happening because if we go back to 2010 onward, rates were at historic lows and now they're higher. So we're probably not going to see too many refinancings, at least for a number of years, unless they're required for some other reason to get out of certain financial covenants.
Thank you. Greg, do you have any thoughts?
I mean, that's really more Barry's expertise. Yeah. I would say, like, again, it's a crystal ball, but, it's really hard to predict. I would just say as the organization, you can look at our financials and we're in a really good spot to do a lot of different things, and whether that's, we generate some fees from bond projects. You will want to look to do, like Phil said, what are we going to commit our funds to? Because we do have some liquid investments in cash, and look forward to the board to support what we do and more of a, I would say, long-term plan.
Thanks, Greg. Appreciate that. Thank you, Barry. Any questions about bonds and issuance of nonprofit?
Do we have like a maturity ladder of ones we've helped issue before, and then when they're going to be coming maybe for a refinance, they may not refi early for rates, but they may refi into things starting to mature?
So I think the best way to put that information together would be from the Paris report that's happened, that we have to file every year. That will say when the bonds are issued and when they come due. Typically bonds in the tax exempt space, if they're publicly offered, the sort of standard terms are at least a 30-year maturity and then a 10-year, what I'll call lockout period, or 10-year no call. So typically the bonds that are publicly offered will be outstanding at least 10 years. For bank deals, it would be more typical to have, let's say, a 7 to 10 year put option by the bank. And so we could definitely pull that information just to see sort of who's going to have to come back potentially and track maybe where they're going. Because obviously, for most of these projects, you could go tax exempt. You could obviously just do a bank loan as well. With the higher interest rates, the benefits of going tax exempt are a little bit more. Get a little bit more of a benefit.
Thanks, Barry.
Good.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good.
We'll try to get you more information. Our programs update. So, once again, in 2023, we funded the Rochester Museum and Science Center Career Ladders program at $50,000. This is an excellent program that exposes primarily recent graduates of the Rochester City School District to career opportunities at the museum, beginning as paid internships. And it's been successful in resulting in many of those interns actually getting full-time jobs at the museum thereafter. But regardless, being exposed to excellent work experience and life experience. And every year the RMSC sends a whole team of museum employees to talk about the program, including graduates of the program, current enrolled participants in the program. The Economic Gardening Program is administered by Greater Rochester Enterprise. This is a $50,000 investment also from this board. And this is effectively the only formal business retention and expansion technical economic development program serving Monroe County. GRE also serves the 8 adjacent counties around Monroe with economic gardening services, but the dollars that come through MCIDC only go to Monroe County program participants. So according to GRE, a total of 20 companies went through the program over 11 years, and actually a bit of personal history. When I worked at Greater Rochester Enterprise, I helped originate this program as a pilot. It's a national model administered by an organization called the National Economic Gardening Foundation. And Monroe County just this past year, or excuse me, GRE just this past year received a national award, an international award through the International Economic Development Council for its impact through the economic gardening program. It really provides technical assistance to small and medium-sized businesses that otherwise lack the in-house capabilities, like if you need assistance accessing new markets, or if you need assistance on pricing strategy, or if you need someone to look at your website and provide you with guidance on how to fix it to make it more social media friendly, or search engine optimization services. That's really what economic gardening does. It connects you to consultants, and that those services are all covered and paid for through the program, so it's free to the business owner. And there's been a strong MWBE focus there as well. As you can see here, 5 of the 20 companies served were MWBEs. The BOCES Summer Advanced Manufacturing Experience is another wonderful program that we've supported for over 10 years now. I don't know if 2022 or 2023 was the 10th year that we funded same, but either way, we're past the decade mark here. 50 students have completed the program since 2017. It's administered by Monroe 1 BOCES. 120 students have completed the same program at Monroe 2 Orleans BOCES since 2012, and I have the pleasure every year of going to the program graduations. It's for both middle and high school students, and they have a really great time, and local manufacturing businesses that participate also really enjoy being able to work with the kids. So BOCES 1 and 2 same was a $40,000 investment in 2023. And then the BOCES CDL, Commercial Driver's License Program. This is another one that we're very proud of. This was newer in 2019, maybe 2019, that BOCES brought this to MCIDC for consideration. This is a $72,000 investment. In 2023, 4 cohorts went through the Commercial Driver's License Training Program. It covers all the costs associated and fees associated with getting a commercial driver's license, and then there are some wraparound services to participants to help them access jobs. And many of you probably are aware of the fact that we need a lot more commercial driver's license holders, and we need more job seekers with CDLs in this current workforce environment. 34 participants went through in 2023. with 24 of them receiving the MCIDC scholarship. So having had it covered completely through MCIDC, 81% pass rate with 71% of them securing full-time employment immediately after completion. And we do anticipate expansion. I think we're going to be having someone from BOCES is going to approach MCIDC with some requests for, excuse me?
Comida, they're coming to Comida.
Oh, they're coming to Comida, excuse me. So Comida, our sister board, established a workforce development fund in 2022. And so as BOCES grows the program, we're glad that through Comida we can throw some additional funds at the CDL program. So we'll keep the board apprised of our progress there. And then finally, Rock With Your Hands, $10,000 per year. The first year of Rock With Your Hands was 2022. Second year was in 2023. Happens in October. It's hosted by the Rochester Technology Manufacturing Association. It's modeled on a very successful program called Glow With Your Hands that's in the Genesee, Livingston, Ontario, Wyoming County region, administered by their workforce development ecosystem partners. 1,513 students participated in 2023, which was significant. It was a 45% increase over the inaugural Rock With Your Hands program. This is to expose students, again, to careers, not just in manufacturing, but in construction, heavy equipment operation. Monroe County, actually, our airport, our Department of Transportation, and our Department of Environmental Services all participate, bringing, equipment and trucks and things, exposing the kids to what could be career opportunities for them in the future. And 70% of the students this year were from the city of Rochester, city schools, and there were 65 different employers on site, not just from Monroe County, but from all over. And it takes place over at the sports, the athletic complex, the arena that was previously used by the Rochester Rhinos. So we do anticipate that we're going to be doing that again in 2024.
So you got to feed the kids.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot of food there.
That's what the money was for.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's true. And the T-shirt. Yeah.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Well, it's kind of a two-part question. One, how is it determined, like, which programs are gonna be supported through this? And then two, I see we work with our RTMA. I know, like, their Finger Lakes Youth Apprenticeship Program is doing incredible things in the trades. Do they have the ability to, that kind of ties back to one, would they have the ability to apply for funding for that program as well?
Yes, prior to 2020, we did not have a formal program application process. We instituted one in 2020. So organizations do have the opportunity to, and I think there's contact information on our website. They can approach us to seek funding, and then our executive committee would meet to review those requests, kind of cross-reference them with what we have in available funding. We have a community development budget line, and then the full board, the executive committee would vote to approve or deny an application, and then it would come to the full board for a vote. And you make a good point that the newest such program that we had was in 2022 with Rock With Your Hands. We are very open to other ideas and other initiatives. Again, this is a conversation about financing and funding and liquidity. We have a lot of liquidity, but in terms of our revenue that we're pulling in every year, it ebbs and it flows based on the bond issuance activity. So, but yes, this year we hope to do more, and we'd love to work with FlyApp. We have a great relationship with Bob Coyne and Rich Turner over at RTMA, and there are many other organizations that are doing great things that we'd love to partner on. So
I can tell you there's a tendency with the board here. I don't know, it might change, who knows? But we lean towards young people, investing in them. And so we're always very interested when a proposal of that sort comes up. Not saying that we don't look at other proposals, but I think that those are the things that catch the eye, and we usually have a pretty good discussion on them, and if the merit is there, we try to get it funded.
Thank you, Hanif, that's a great point. Yeah, the focus is on youth, but again, it's up to the full board. So as we look ahead to this new year and into the distant future, we might want to shift priorities and think about other initiatives and goals that we want to accomplish. And we also welcome board member recommendations and referrals and input on what's out there and other opportunities for MCIDC to consider applications for support.
Thank you.
Of course, and yes, on the subject of youth and employment and workforce, our retain program, which we established officially in 2022, we modeled the retain program off of the Monroe Manufacturers Jobs Program, which is a cash incentive program for graduates of the Monroe MCC's Applied Technology Center. We took that model and we expanded it to provide, the goal is to provide $2,000 cash incentives to recent graduates of four-year colleges and universities in Monroe County who accept jobs in Monroe County after graduation upon 1 full year of full-time employment with those companies. This program is structured to result in a $2,000 cash incentive bonus, and there are 2 payments that have been dispersed as of very recently, and the total number of businesses approved to get involved in the program are 5. They are in information technology and life sciences. 3 of those 5 are minority women-owned business enterprises. There are 9 enrolled participants in the program. So that's 18,000 of the total $100,000 funding allocation. There are 10 more participants that have submitted applications but not yet approved. We're working on, as existing members of the board will recall, a couple of meeting cycles ago, we had staff come and do a presentation about outreach and our intent to really be proactive about getting the word out about this program now and into the new year. And we're also open to the idea of working in a more formal way with the talent strategy team at the chamber that runs the Campus Rock model, having them act essentially as extensions of our team to kind of run this program and make sure that it's getting to the right audience. Monroe County, MCIDC's programs and the way that we're set up limits us to providing funds to businesses or to not-for-profit organizations, not to individuals. So that has created some limitations around this program in particular, because ideally we'd love to process applications of worthy candidates and then give the money to those worthy candidates themselves, but we don't have the mechanisms in place to do so. So we're looking at having some conversations with the Campus Rock team to effectively be able to do that. So we'll keep the board apprised of that as well. But again, we're very happy that 2 payments have gone out the door already, and we'd love to be able to expand this.
Are these taxed paid, like, does the individual receiving it have to pay tax on it, or is it a 2,000 tax?
Yes, because it comes to them as a form of, yes,
Got it.
right. So that's a further consideration. Moving on to the goals and objectives for 2024, and I've touched on some of this as I've gone along, and I'd love to open it up to board discussion, any suggestions or input. But we want to look back at the great rates, great rebates, Monroe Manufacturers Jobs, and Monroe Manufacturers Rewards incentive programs were all established in and around the late 90s, early 2000s timeframe. And so we want to look at those programs, their performance, and identify with board input and with input from some of our partners in the economic development world in the region. Are those programs effective, and should we be doing more with them? Should we repackage them or reinvigorate them somehow? Is there another way for us to, for instance, you know, the rebate programs are for equipment purchases, not necessarily for software system purchases and installation, or and some of our programs cover certain types of training for employees. Are there other kinds of training that we could bring into the fold? So really working with staff on modernization of our portfolio of products. And then I talked a little bit about partnership. The talent strategy team at the Chamber that runs Campus Rock is connected to the Rock 2025 initiative. And we want to further cement, they're very keenly interested in retain, and I want to take that to the next level, or bring it to its natural conclusion. I think in 2024, Rock 2025 is rebranding to One Rock this year. So, and then Greater Rochester Enterprise, we have an existing positive relationship with them through economic gardening. Roquel and her staff are working with the GRE staff to better acclimate, familiarize our whole economic development division with what economic gardening entails, so that when we're out meeting with businesses and talking to them about 504s and microloans and COMITA products, we're also talking to them about economic gardening. We want to, workforce development, as Jeff McCann pointed out, is really arguably the top priority for the Bello administration, making sure that our job seekers have access to the training and the opportunities that they need to thrive and to contribute to this economy, and making sure that our employers have access to adequate workforce to meet their needs. So we're going to be in tandem with that reevaluation up in number one, looking at our workforce development program priorities. And Joe, you brought up a good point about other programs that might be out there in the community that we might want to consider providing support for. Business retention and expansion. So again, Raquel and her staff are working on a strategic proactive outreach initiative to engage with businesses that have come through MCIDC throughout its history, really, throughout its recent history, for 504s, checking in on them, and also checking in on COMITA businesses as well, to see what are their needs in 2024, what are the challenges that they're facing, how can we as Monroe County be supportive, and that will help guide and drive some of our reevaluation and our modernization priorities as well. And then finally, I already addressed this, but that sustainable path forward for the Retain program and coming up with a successful landing spot for that initiative. And with that, thank you for indulging me, and I'm sorry that I hit the 1 o'clock hour here. I'd open it up to your questions and suggestions.
Do we do any marketing through the chamber? Like, the chamber's got all these businesses. Do we ever able to say, hey, here are some programs we offer, and boom, every business would know about it?
Yes, so that's a good question. We've worked with the chamber on marketing the county's MWBE certification program, and we work with the chamber on marketing of our Apex Accelerator programs, and we've leveraged our MWBE partnership with them on events to get the word out about our microloan fund, but we haven't really used that vehicle to promote our 504 portfolio and our other programs, like the Great Rate, Great Rebate, things of that nature. So we're definitely, we're a member of the chamber. We should avail ourselves of that.
Yeah, because most of the members probably wouldn't qualify for the microloan program, or
they're bigger, but they might want to.
But Great Rate, in this interest rate environment, Great Rate is a good product.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
that was when we developed it, when the rates were higher, to give people a benefit.
So do we still do the presentations to the banks, making sure they're up to speed? Because to me, what is it? If I'm a lender, and every deal I'd be bringing up.
Right.
Doesn't
We
make
do.
sense not to.
Yes, Tony,
But they
can I
don't.
ask you to address that question?
Yeah, we've been presenting the whole, the whole package.
Yeah.
The 504s, the microloans and the grade rates and the other, benefits and incentives that we have. Some people have definitely taken advantage of, and those people realize and they keep coming back. As we know, we've tried to put a cap on how many times they get. So it's a great product, and some people realize and keep coming back for it. Why it isn't used a little more often, I'm not fully sure why. Because we don't have to be involved from a loan point of view to do that. So it's, it's open, we're still here to help.
But I think maybe one of the reasons that it's maybe underutilized is because just don't know. And so that's what we need to reevaluate. Are we marketing our products so folks in the community understand them and they can access them?
And there are a few eligibility issues too, because we don't do the retail, and that cuts out
And the job
some of the
creation
people,
piece.
and the dollar amount too. Sometimes the equipment is, they're buying a
But
smaller amount.
even with that, you could put it up on the flag post so everybody can see. And maybe that's what we need to reevaluate too, is that are we marketing these programs, to prospective folks that possibly could take advantage of them?
That's a really great point, and, we do have a line in our budget for marketing and communications. Right now, we're working with the Department of Communications and Special Events across the street to do a promotional campaign around the microloan program in particular. And Raquel has a member of her team, Mark Wilson, now running point on the Department of Planning and Development's social media communications strategy. And we hope to use that platform and grow that platform to get the word out about our programs. Also through the business retention and expansion strategy that we're developing. But yes, like radio spots or, I know that it costs money, but it's probably worth our while to get the word out, leveraging the chamber's newsletter and other channels.
It might be good if we do this here at one of the board meetings. I don't know if it's going to be the February one or the March one, but why don't you come back at one of those board meetings with the suggestions of how we're going to market our programs, and give us the strategies that you're outlining here, so we all can understand them, we'll all be aware of them, and we all can go out and promote.
We'll be prepared at our February board meeting with that.
I was gonna say, I think every business, some businesses buy equipment, manufacturing, whatever. Every business uses technology, so they all use ERP systems, they all use, and a lot of them update them, and there's a lot more to update. So if we created a product that supported those investments, that'd be huge.
Right. So that's aligned with our goals to reevaluate and modernize our programs and our products. And when it comes to marketing and advertising and promotion, what we'll do, and we have Brittany Bachman is on our board now as our marketing manager. We can maybe pick your brain for some suggestions, but we'll try to come prepared to the February board meeting with a proposed strategy.
Well, I'm quite sure we can get any board member to dress up in an outfit, put a placard in their hand, and stand on any corner in Monroe County to promote these programs. So,
all right, we're going to take you up on that. Thank you. It's a great question, though. Thanks. Anything else about the annual report?
We're going to turn it over to you, Greg.
Wow. All right, I'm ready. I'll be quick. I'll keep it on point here. So year end, these are unaudited numbers. You can see financials, probably one of the better years on record. Obviously, bond fee income was a little over $900,000. That really pushes us to that, to where we are today and what the results kind of show. So you can see our cash and cash equivalents. Really, that represents about $250,000 in our checking, about $1.2 million into our money market account, and about $500,000 into the microloan program that is being expended as we speak. And then about 175,000 in CDs that I think we're right now, we only have one CD left.
One left at Key Bank.
One left at Key Bank, and all the other accounts have been consolidated. So we made obviously good progress, obviously, continue to, kind of, use our buying power to for our investments and things like that. We did yesterday buy about $1 million in treasuries and bonds. So that 2.2 is really 1.2. That ranges from, again, continuing with the ladder process. We bought 7 different notes or bonds, depending on the length. Every 3 months they mature. The rates range from about 5.27 to about 4.43, and that gets us out into about July of 25. So, like Phil said, I think the board will want to consider what to do with some of these things as we continue. Every 3 months, right? We'll have maturities of these, and I think one's coming up next. Our first ladder, one of our notes is coming due next week, and again, probably we'll renew that. We don't really see a neat reason to put that back into our working capital because we're kind of maintaining that balance of what we think we need over the next 6 months. So, all in all, a good year for the organization. In terms of RLF funds, you can see we're generating some interest from those. Our micro loans, as Tony and Anna have talked about, we're starting to get some principal payments back on those as we speak. Some are a little bit harder than others, and we're focusing on those collection efforts. Everything else is to really budget and what I would say our liabilities and assets are to what our expectations are. Summary of revenue and expenses, again, we're pretty much on point for our 504 loan program income to what we have budgeted. Our bank interest income, you can see, is basically, again, if you take an average of, we probably had investable cash of, $2 million over that time, over 12 months, at generally a range of, 5%. We're generally at about $100,000. This year, you'll see quite a bit more from that if we consider, and if we think we're going to have some excess cash, we're going to consider continue to do what we're doing based on what the IDC's investment policy is, right? We're limited for you new board members, kind of limited on what we can do. Feel free to read our investment policy if you want to take a look at what those things are, but that's all in there. Microloan grant income is really the amounts that we have loaned out and are being reimbursed from the county. Like I said, the revenue other represents our bond fee income of about $900,000 for University of Rochester and the Episcopal Home, and the remaining $20,000 is really some fee, miscellaneous fee income. Overall, our expenses are really lower than what we have budgeted, pretty much on point to last year, which results in a very successful year for the organization. A little over $1 million of excess of our revenue over our expenses for the year.
Thank you, Fred.
Questions?
Is there any other business? Well, listen, before we adjourn, once again, we want to thank the new board members. We're going to put a lot of this work off on you.
I got a question, actually. The revolving loan fund that Phil was referencing earlier, what's the eligibility to use it? Could it be for anything? Can we do bridge lending to?
Yeah. Tony, can you take that?
Yeah. Well, one of the main ways we use it, it's kind of termed as like an SBA fallout. The last one that we did, we were going at it as a 504 loan. And the person was trying to buy a property and open up another location of a business he had. And he, along with the contractor, purchased it. He put in about $9,000, so he had a little piece of it. But somehow the SBA's math made it so they whacked 20% off of the lendable value of the property, which made his equity portion, higher than our loan was going to be. The bank that was looking at it at the time, followed suit and said, well, if they're knocking it down, we're knocking ours down. And he's like, well, I can't take this deal. It doesn't work for me. He went out and found another bank who was willing to go higher. And then we stepped back from the SBA and used the revolving loan fund the same way to do the 40% portion. You know, the same terms and stuff we were looking at previously. So it was kind of that same
Can we
thing
use
for
it
when
on
it
like
missed out.
maturing real estate loans or anything like that? Like if there's a gap of someone's refining
And some of the other ones in the past, we did some
like a
gap
subordinated
financing
debt piece
with.
or something like that, we could probably make.
Yeah,
money
we
doing that.
can do that. We had another company we gave 2 loans, 200,000 for, because thank God there's been a rule change, but at the time, the SBA had an affiliation rule where anyone who had any ownership had to provide a statement, what other businesses do you own? And this company, though there's some major owners, they had 60 different people who owned about 1%. So there was no way it was gonna work. So to help them along, we gave them those. And we're still looking at the 504 for them. We can't proceed now because the SBA changed that rule because they realized how ridiculous it was.
But this is to buy a new building though, right? This is what you're talking about.
It can be either, whatever the program, it can be equipment too. We have a couple out there that are equipment related also that already exist. And another one we did to a local company, everybody knows, was Weigels. And there were some issues trying to get the SBA situated because of the ownership, and a sister who was a nun who had ownership, and it was pretty messy.
For anything.
So,
And it doesn't have to be tied to a 504.
no, it doesn't. That's just one of the ways that it's easy to do, because, we have this loan already situated, we're looking at, now we can't do it. Well, let's do the same thing since it did all the work with the RLA.
Thanks, Tony. Ryan, does that answer you?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it's a wide range of things you could use it for.
Yeah.
Listen, we'll take a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Motion.
Second.